Hey guys, hoping all is well with everybody. In this video, we're going to be continuing the read-along of The Secret Zoo by Brian Chick, starting with Chapter 9 today. And as always, I'll be showing you guys any pictures as I come across them, but please feel free to follow along. Chapter 9, Secret of the Chamber of Lights. Here comes one now! Noah had spotted a security guard strolling down the corridor. It was the same one he'd seen at the Langer exhibit, the one with red hair and fat lips. He held a set of keys tied to a long string, and as he walked, he swung them in a big circle. This is the guy who talked to me when I met Mr. Talltail. He's weird. Keep your eye on him, Alice said. The scouts were sitting on a bench in a theater that was less than 30 feet from the Chamber of Lights. The theater was a small room with 15 seats packed tightly together. The entrance to the theater was from the hallway leading to the Chamber of Lights. The wall that the room shared with the hallway was barely a wall, only 4 feet high. It merely sectioned off the room. In the front of the theater was a big television that played the same 10-minute video again and again. On the screen, a pair of cartoon frogs kept explaining how some tree frogs are ribbit poisonous and very ribbit deadly. The action scouts weren't interested in poisonous tree frogs. They were sitting in a tiny theater because it kept them out of sight while offering a clear view of the Chamber of Lights. "What do you think he's gonna do?" said Richie. "I don't know," Ella said. "Just watch." The worker patrolled the length of the hall and turned back without glancing at the Chamber of Lights. He ambled past the theater and disappeared. "Well," Richie whispered, "he didn't even look at the chamber." "Just hold on," Ella said as she checked her watch. "The zoo doesn't close for almost an hour, and we know how weird things get at closing time." The scouts waited. Hiding behind the short wall, they spied on people moving up and down the hallway. They waited, they watched, they listened to the goofy cartoon frogs spout on and on about the different ribbit kinds of frogs. At one point, a child entered the theater, took a seat, and hurried off quickly after growing bored with the video. A little later, a lady's voice projected through a loudspeaker. She announced in a rushed voice that the zoo would be closing in 10 minutes. "So please make your way to the exits. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Please drive safely." Creepy critters promptly emptied. The building fell silent except for the soft gurgle of bubbles and the occasional reptilian croak or hiss or rattle. "We'd better go," Richie said, "before the zoo closes and we get locked in." "No," Ella said, disagreeing. "We stay." "We what?" "I have this feeling that we need to be here when the zoo's closed and the employees think everyone's gone." "That's crazy," Richie said. "Staying past closing time? We could get in serious trouble, and I don't want—" "She's right," Noah said. "We'll hide in here for an hour. If nothing happens, we'll sneak out. It can't be too hard to get out of the zoo, right?" "Are you guys nuts? Our parents will be home by then. Have you lost your—" "Richie," Noah said, "it might mean finding my sister." Richie considered this. "Okay," he said at last. "We stay." The three children sat in silence. A half hour passed. Nothing happened. Richie was about to say something when Ella stuck her hand in, pinched his lips shut with her fingers. "Shh! Quiet!" She leaned her ear toward the corridor. "Someone's coming!" The scouts heard a strange scuffling sound down the hallway. Peering over the short theater wall, they couldn't see who or what was approaching. It made a scratching sounds against the floor. "Shh! Shh! Shh!" The children rolled off the bench and huddled on the carpet. Noah whispered, "Are we hiding because we're afraid or because we hope we don't get caught?" "I don't know," Ella answered. "Both, I guess." "Shh! Shh!" They crouched and peered over the wall. A moment later, they discovered the source of a sound. A zoo worker with more hair on his face than his head. He was strolling down the corridor, pausing occasionally to tap on the tanks playfully. "Hello, Justice," he said to a creature inside a tank. "Good evening, Starlight," he said to another. "Glad to see you both back tonight." "Back?" Noah whispered. "Back from where?" The worker casually looked toward the theater, and the scouts dropped like turtles ducking into their shells. They waited. When the sound of his footsteps faded, they poked their heads up again and stared down the hallway. "What's he doing?" Richie asked. "I don't know," Noah said. "Just standing next to the Chamber of Lights." "He's getting ready," Ella said firmly. "Getting ready for what?" Richie said. The man checked over his shoulder and slipped into the Chamber of Lights. He put on a pair of sunglasses and flung the curtain closed. "Sunglasses?" Noah asked. "For what?" "I have this feeling we should get down," Ella said. Noah was about to ask why when a soundless flash of light, as sudden as a camera flash and 100 times more powerful, sprayed out from the gasps in the curtain, covering the entrance to the Chamber of Lights. The scouts fell backward and covered their faces. After a few seconds, they sat up. Rubbing his eyes, Noah said, "What happened?" Ella stepped out of the theater and headed toward the chamber. "Ella!" Richie screamed under his breath. "Don't be stupid!" Richie and Noah ran after her. "Ella, don't!" Richie warned again. But Ella would not be persuaded. She marched to the Chamber of Lights, threw back the curtain, and walked inside. Terrified, Richie and Noah stopped in their tracks and held their breath. Noah glanced at Richie. His friend was so helplessly frozen in place that he looked like a strange, misplaced lawn ornament. A moment later, Ella strolled out, and the boys sighed with relief. "He's gone," she stated. "But how?" Noah asked. "It's all as if the light evaporated him," Richie whispered. "Or took him away." "Away where?" "I don't know. Someplace else." Behind them, an angry voice cut the air. "What the heck?" They spun around. Walking down the hall was the gangly security guard with red hair and fat lips. "You kids need to beat it," the guard yelled as he marched up to them. "And I mean now." His breath gushed with the last word, and Noah could smell what he'd eaten for lunch. Something that would be strong enough to garlic to gag a dinosaur. The scouts were too scared to say anything. Whoever this man was, he'd just seen what had happened, and that made him part of whatever was going on. Sure, mister," Noah blurted. "Come on!" The guard barked. The scouts couldn't move. The worker leaned toward them and yelled, "I said move!" He sounded like a cow, even looked like one with his big lips quivering. The scouts hurried up the hallway. The guard marched behind them, swinging his keys in a circle. Now the swing seemed menacing. "What's best at this point," he said calmly, "is for you kids to forget what you saw. Remembering is only going to do a lot of people a lot of harm, and you don't want to be responsible for that now, do you?" As the children walked along the corridor, Noah noticed that the creatures in the aquariums were watching them. In front of the tanks, fish darted restlessly in the water, snakes slithered anxiously, and frogs jumped in all directions. Then they started to croak, hiss, and snort. The noises built up until the exhibit sounded like an overactive swamp. "Don't worry about those creatures," the red-headed guard said, raising his voice to be heard over the animal sounds. "Mister," Noah said, "be quiet, kid." "How do the animals know who we are?" "Be quiet, and I mean it." The man's spit sprayed Noah's neck. "You kids have no idea what you're getting into. This is none of your business." Noah suddenly felt certain that the man behind him knew something about Megan and her disappearance. From the peculiar guard at the polar pool to Megan's distrust to the zoo workers, to the behavior of the animals, to the guard who had just disappeared in the Chamber of Lights, too much implicated the zoo and its staff with the disappearance of his sister. Noah exploded with anger. He spun around and shouted, "Where's Megan?" "Where's who?" "My sister. You know exactly who she is, and you know exactly how I can find her." He became more furious with every word. "Take me to her. Take me to her right now." The guard's face turned white, probably more from shock than anything else. He grabbed a fistful of Noah's shirt and hissed, "Listen, kid, it's time for you and your—" "Let me go!" Noah struggled to break free, but only managed to entangle himself in his own shirt. "Let me go," I said. "Let go of him, you big jerk!" Ella yelled. She kicked the guard in the shin. Ow! Dumb kids. With his free hand, the guard snatched a walkie-talkie off his lip. Tank, come in. Tank, I got a code red on the Megan situation in Creepy Critters, requesting backup. The Megan situation? You have a name for it? Quiet, kid. Let go, Noah shrieked. Ella booted the man in the ankle, and Richie grabbed hold of his shirt. Ow! Stinking kids. Creepy Critter's double doors burst open. Standing just outside was a large, beefy man. When he walked through the door frame, he filled it completely. His hands were as large as oven mitts, and his head was so bald and shiny that it glowed. His brown skin was deep and rich and oddly perfect, without a single blemish. Tank, the red-headed guard called out. Give me a hand with this slippery punk. Tank trudged down the corridor and stopped in front of Noah. He crossed his massive arms over his body, nearly splitting the seams of Noah's shirt. He was gigantic, the biggest man Noah had ever seen. Funny, Noah panted as he struggled to get loose. You certainly don't look like... Let me go! Any security guard I've ever seen around here. Quiet, squirming kid, the red-headed guard barked. Time to go, little man, said Tank in a deep, throaty voice. Where's my sister? She's gone, kid, the guard said. He released Noah and added, You're just gonna have to get used to that. Tank, get this pesky action scout out of my face. Hey, Ella cried, how do you know who we are? Kid, the guard said, everyone knows who you are. Wait, what? What's going on? Where's my sister? Noah yelled. I wanna... But before he could finish his sentence, Tank scooped him up and slung him over his shoulder like a beach towel. Let him down, Ella demanded. She tried to pack a punch, but Tank reached out his enormous arms, seized her wrist, and proceeded to drag her behind him. He hauled his two captives out to the exhibit and down a path that led to a private exit behind the outer exhibit. Richie chased after them. When Tank reached the gates, he kicked one open and dropped Noah on the ground like a sack of laundry. Then, with a clean jerk of his arm, he flung Ella on top of Noah. Richie squatted beside his friends and yelled, Hey, you can't do that. Quiet, Tank bellowed. I'm gonna report. Quiet! The boom thunder of the man's voice made the scouts pull back as if they were dodging a punch. Tank lowered his voice to a whisper. Is Charlie Red still behind me? Who? Ella asked. Charlie Red, the other guard. Confused, Ella said, No. Good. Listen, I gotta make this quick. He glanced over his shoulder and added, It looks like you kids are in this now. If the rumors are true, I guess we have Marlowe and Blizzard and Mr. Talltail to thank for that. What are you talking about? Said Ella. Be quiet and listen. Megan's inside. She's in trouble. Some of us on the inside want to help. Some are too afraid of... Tank looked around nervously. I shouldn't even be saying this. He could be anywhere. He lives in the shadows. Heck, he is the shadows. Who? Noah said. Who are you talking about? No time for questions. This has got to be crazy for you guys, but there's too much to explain. I'll just say this. Do not draw attention to yourselves the way you did today. That was a big mistake. The more people that know about this, the more dangerous things will get. Know about what? Richie asked. Who's in danger? Everyone, Tank said. The whole world. What? You're not making any sense, Ella said. That's it. I can't talk anymore. Charlie's watching and he ain't rooting for you. If you know what I'm saying, Tank stepped backward. Tell anybody, and I tell nobody. And I mean nobody. We'll work through this. I promise you. I'll see that you guys make it to the inside. The inside of what? Noah demanded. The inside. Tank paused as if he was considering something. He turned to walk off and suddenly swung back around. Listen, they're really going to try to stop you now, so we need to speed this up. Noah, I need you to do something for me. What? How do you know my name? How do you... check your mailbox." "My mailbox? Tomorrow?" "No, tonight, at midnight. Exactly midnight. Not a second later." "What?" "No more questions," Tank said. "Let's just say I suddenly had an idea." "Wait," Noah said. "Gotta go. Remember, beware of the shadows. They listen and they see. And keep this quiet. I promise it will make sense soon. Come back when, well," Tank smiled and winked. "Come back when you can stay a while." "Tank, hold on," Noah called out. "I don't understand." But Tank slammed the gate shut and bolted it. The scouts watched in silence as he ran back into the zoo. In a matter of seconds, he disappeared deep into its mystery and magic. And that is the end of chapter 9. I hope you guys enjoyed that chapter. I'm going to end the video there, but in the next video, we'll be continuing on the Secret Zoo with chapter 10. But guys, please take good care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much for watching.